very morning to everybody. We just won the semi-finals. That's why I'm very great today. Today, the Catholic Church all over the world celebrates the Mission Sunday. In his message, Pope Francis declares that mission is at the heart of the Christian faith. We are not just Catholics for 1 hour inside of this church on Sundays, but we are Catholics sent on a mission throughout the week to the whole world and to share the good news of Christ. Our call, therefore, today is to be missionaries, or a missionary church, where we continue the hard work of missionaries who came all over the world, started and accomplished the good work here in South Africa, where they built churches, schools, hospitals, and many more. Then for us, how can we be missionaries today? Today we are reminded that being Catholic is not merely going to church, receiving the sacraments, and obeying the 10 Commandments. Thus, many of us Catholics are Sunday Catholics, giving to God maybe only an hour per week, and then getting on with life. Work, food, television, cars, Facebook, WhatsApp, money, etc. As members of the church, we are called to participate in the mission of Christ, which is to preach the good news and make disciples. We are evangelizers, and our primary duty is to spread the good news of Christ to the whole world through the word of mouth and our actions. Pope Francis recently released his annual message for World Mission Sunday. Its theme is taken from Isaiah chapter 6 verse 8. Here I am, send me. And God's question, whom shall I send, expressed by the prophet Isaiah, is addressed once again to all of us this morning. And our response should be the words of the prophet Isaiah chapter 6. Here I am, send me. During his life on earth, Jesus was particularly concerned with those who were marginalized, excluded from the Jewish establishment of his time. The poor, to mention the few, the blind, the lepers, the tax collectors, those possessed by demons, the persecuted, and the downtrodden. Jesus wanted to end their misery and enable them to have life in abundance. That's why Jesus Christ used the very same words that I chose for my ordination, John 10:10. I have come, therefore, that they may have life and have it to the fullest. We are to continue that mission. Our call and our duty today will be very difficult, characterized by opponents of our times, and it happened to Jesus. But he says, behold, I am with you. I will be your mouth. We've just heard the Pharisees in our gospel today, and they represent many obstacles that we are facing today. I've said we are a missionary church. and there will be obstacles. They come in different shapes and forms. They come like tests, various forms of temptations, doubts, persecutions, threats of life, and alienation, or loneliness, even in the midst of the people. The Pharisees and the Herodians, an unholy alliance, because they formed an alliance, put a question to Jesus this morning. The gospel says, they said, "Teacher, we know that you are true and teach the way of God truthfully and care for no man. For you do not regard any position for men. Tell us then, what do you think? Is it lawful to pay tax or not?" It appeared that no matter which side Jesus took, he would create problems for himself here. If he opposed to the tax, he would be in trouble with the Romans. If he approved the tax, he would be in trouble with the Jews. But Jesus, aware of their meanings, said, why put me to the test, you hypocrites? He came very harsh on them. He says to them, repay to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and to God what belongs to God. That was the answer. I suspect the Pharisees went away stretching their hands, wondering what sort of answer was that. Just to get a little bit of some background about these groups, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and the Herodians. Because these were three prominent opponents of Jesus. The Pharisees were characterized by strict observance of Torah, the law, be it written or oral. They were well respected, as we know, by people, and at the same time considered as masters, an example of religiosity. The Sadducees, made up of political high-ranking officials among the Jews. They were also a priestly class, unlike the Pharisees. The Sadducees then accepted only the Torah, the first 5 books of the Gospel of the Bible, the Hebrew Bible, and rejected the oral Torah as held by the Pharisees. Now the third group that teamed up with the Pharisees, the Herodians, with the name derived from Herod, were close collaborators with the Romans over the affairs of the Jewish population, and were helping the Romans to collect taxes imposed by the Jews. As a reward, the emperors were meant to guarantee them political powers and protection against the possible violence from the people. However, the Pharisees were open enemies of the Herodians. But here, we have to underline that these two today are teaming up against Jesus. Their common enemy was Jesus Christ himself. The question now of text was to discredit Jesus Christ. But in his response, he just reminded them of their duty. We are also reminded today of our dual citizenship as Christians. If you read the Catechism of the Catholic Church, paragraph 2238, teaches us that Christians must honor and obey rulers. This is taught everywhere in the New Testament. Christians have dual citizenship, in heaven and here on earth. We must obey and respect our earthly rulers. It may be the government, the priest, whoever in position. obey the law, pay your tax, but moreover, pray for all those who are in power. Likewise, we must honor and obey God as well. We are citizens of two worlds. Citizens of this world and citizens of heaven. Each with its own particular goals, methods, authorities, and demands upon which our minds and our hearts should strive. As such, we have obligations towards each of these. We must respect and honor. Dear brothers and sisters, this morning then, if you pay attention to our readings, they talk about good relationship that should exist between people of faith and civil government. The common theme that comes across the readings of today is the call to our obligation towards God and towards humanity. This sums up the message of the gospel, which proposes that we can be ideal citizens here on earth while in pursuit of heavenly citizenship. How we live our earthly life will determine our entry into eternal life. On a missionary Sunday, I instruct you once again, go therefore, preach the good news, make disciples, as Jesus instructed us, baptize them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. But to conclude, underline this. While we are here on earth, make sure that you live each day to the fullest. That's my principle in life. Live each day to the fullest, as if it's the first and the last. And I said this a few weeks ago when I was at the cathedral. I said, we can see these young priests and deacons. We are glowing. Can't you see? Yes, we are working for heaven, but honestly, because of this dual citizenship, I want to make sure that I live each day to the fullest here. I know there's another life that I will live. If I've done well, then that will determine my entry into heaven. That will be my greatest reward. But that will be determined by how I lived my life here on earth. So do well. Enjoy your life. Support the rabbi, by the way. And pray. That was our prayer yesterday when Father Junior preached. When he finished Mass yesterday at 5:30, he said the mass intention for all of us South Africans is to pray for the rabbi team. So God heard us. Thank God for that. And He really listened to our prayers. So we continue to support Rabbi as we proceed to the finals.